Hi guys, welcome to the Challenge Podcast, the show dedicated to transforming your life. I'm Coach Steve.
And I'm Coach Helen, and we're excited to bring you the best information on exercise, nutrition, mindset and health. Let's get on with the show.
What's up guys, Coach Steve here and welcome back to another episode of the Challenge Podcast. In today's episode, I interviewed Tim and Tara Coakley, and both of them made the top 10 in the Max and the Maxine Challenge. So they were a bit of our power couple in the September Challenge. So if you find that you're in a relationship with someone and you both want to start making good health changes, especially to be a role model for your children, this is the episode for you, because Tim and Tara both talk about their unique challenges. So talking about sugar addiction and talking about certain health injuries and ailments that both of them went through throughout the challenge and how they both helped each other to overcome those challenges. And then they both made an amazing transformation to be great role models for themselves and the people around them and especially for their children. So if you're in a couple, this is the episode you want to listen to. Sit back and relax and let's welcome Tim and Tara Coakley. What's up guys, Coach Steve here and welcome to another episode of the Challenge Podcast. Today I'm joined with two of our top 10 finalists, one Max and one Maxine. We've got Tim and Tara Coakley. Tim, Tara, welcome to the podcast.
Hi,
Steve.
I'm so excited to spend some time chatting with both of you. But before we get into some of the questions that we have today, how are you guys feeling? You know, it's only been a couple of weeks since you were both announced in our top 10. How has the energy been at home at the Coakley house?
Well, the energy has been good, but for me personally, I got shingles straight after the challenge, so I'm a bit sore.
Oh, no.
Yeah, at the end of the year, I think regardless of if you're doing a challenge or not, you're at the end of the year, so you're tired and ready for a break. But I'm good, still training hard, still eating well, so yeah.
Well, you know, looking at both of your transformations, I think you guys both did an absolute amazing job, especially that last 4 weeks. I don't know what you guys did, but you guys look absolutely incredible. So congratulations.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Would you like to start by introducing yourself? So Tim and Tara, would you like to maybe introduce where you're from, what you do for work, and a little bit about who you are?
I'm Tara and I'm from Sydney. We're from Old Toongabbie and I work in retail. I work at Coles. And yeah, we've got two young daughters, Emily and Isabel, and they're 6 and 2.5. And yeah.
My name's Tim. I'm 35 years old. I'm a high school science teacher. Been teaching for 13 years. Yeah, I'm from Old Toongabbie, originally from Melbourne. So that's about it.
I love it. And how long have you guys been together for?
We've been dating since the end of 2002 and married in 2012. So, yeah, what's my math? 17 years.
17 years. Wow. And what's the story? How'd you guys meet?
Through friends. Tara decided to come down and watch me on the athletics track during high school. So I used to be a reasonably good runner. And then, yeah, from there we sort of met up a few times and the rest is history.
Yep.
Yeah. So you both had a little bit of history in athletics and being a runner in the past. Is that right?
No, I played AFL for about 20 years and I did a little bit of athletics on the side. I just had from training lots with AFL, I had that sort of natural running ability and just turn up on athletics day and beat everyone.
Yeah.
I'm not very athletic at all. I wasn't very athletic at all. I've tried to change that.
Yeah. Well, would you guys like to tell us, you know, why did you start the challenge? Was it a joint decision or did one of you lead the charge? Why did you start this September challenge?
We started the challenge because previously I was quite fit and healthy and I was training probably, 4 or 5 times a week anyway. And Tara was still going to the gym, but sporadically. But in 2018, I had a major health battle. So basically, in a nutshell, my body stopped making blood. Obviously, you need blood to live. And I was basically in and out of hospital. Well, I was in and out of hospital for the first 3 months post-diagnosis and then in hospital for 3 months. I had 2 bone marrow transplants. And basically, I didn't wither away, but I lost everything muscle-wise and definition-wise that I'd been training with for the last, 4 or 5 years because we did the challenge in 2014 after Emily was born because I started getting really lazy and with a 1-year-old, you sort of get home from work, and obviously Tara's been handling Emily all day long, and she's tired and I'm tired, and you can't be bothered cooking. So then you end up buying takeaway, and that's why we did the 2014 challenge. We both got excellent results. And then so finally being out of hospital, I was sort of on and off training, and I just wanted something to push me along. And I obviously had the conversation with Tara to do the challenge, and Tara was always wanting to do it. I thought I'd been out of hospital for 11 months.
And we were getting a bit lazy with our eating and stuff, especially when Tim was in hospital. Like, I'd be visiting him, and then I'd have to go get the girls from either my parents or his parents. And then we would get home, and it would be a pretty easy, low-key dinner, not the healthiest options. And then so it was a bit of unhealthy eating, and we knew that the meal plans were really good when we did it last time. So we were doing it a lot for the meal plans as well as the exercise as well.
That's probably one reason why I sort of signed up. I wanted meal ideas because we sort of got stuck in the repeat, you know, this on Monday, this on Tuesday, this on Wednesday. I just wanted all the different recipes because I don't mind cooking. So, yeah. There was a number of reasons, but probably just to get back on track because I didn't go back to work until May. And I was pretty much home from mid-November to May, and I would just eat crap because Tara was at work, the girl Emily was at school, and I was just looking up Isabel, and I'm like, what's for lunch? Oh, I'll just go down the road and get something. So I was just to get back into more of a routine of being a school teacher, just very used to routine. And I knew I'm pretty stubborn. And if I have a challenge in front of me, I'm all in. I'm not half in, half out. I'm 100% committed.
And that's what my friend said too. I'm either all in or I'm like all out. So it's good to have that challenge to focus on. So you've got something to focus on to get you to the end.
Yeah. Wow. That's really incredible. First of all, Tim, I'm sorry about what happened in the hospital. That must have been an experience for you, especially as a family. I think you brought up a lot of really strong points. You know, first of all, you've done a challenge in the past 4 years ago, and you know how to train, you know how to eat well, and you know that fitness lifestyle. And you both expressed that you've been quite fit and healthy. And I think you highlighted how easy it is for us to fall into or change our habits because of life that gets in the way. And, you know, in that time, you've gone and had another child, you've experienced the thing we call work and life, that everything gets in between, and we start making easier choices. And sometimes we need a little bit of a boot camp experience, this 12 weeks of a challenge environment where we've got a little bit of a community around us, got a bit of a deadline, and it's a little bit of an overhaul with our whole lifestyle where we go, hey, Steve, it's time for you to eat a little bit better, train a little bit harder, and get everything back on track. And, you know, it's exciting to see that both of you were able to successfully do that and bring back these old habits that you had in 2014 and get this amazing, amazing result. Now, I want to talk about your experiences with the challenge with each other and how did the house dynamic work? Tim, you mentioned how you get home from work and Tara was looking after your daughter, Emily, and you were both tired. You had to kind of play tag and tag out and change the guard, per se. How did the dynamic work at home with both of you? Like, did you have a strategy or was it a little bit fluid?
I wouldn't say we had a strategy in the sense of we didn't like sit down and sort of say X, Y, and Z. We sort of knew each other's timetables as such and sort of worked around each other. So I have a gym at school. So I would just go to work early every morning. Obviously leave Tara with the kids in the morning. And then when Tara had gone to work, we were pretty lucky with our family network. My mum and dad and Tara's mum and dad live close by. So when Emily's at school, Isabel is either at her grandparents or Nana and Pa's. And then Tara's at work. But then when Tara finishes work, she might have had the opportunity to go to the gym. Tara's gym has a creche, so that helps as well. So we sort of knew each other's schedule. When
my shifts weren't always timed very well, like for school pickup and school drop off. So if I didn't have time to do a gym session before going to work or after going to work, even with my parents and Tim's parents' help, I'd go after the kids had gone to bed or after dinner, and Tim would do bath time and bedtime so I could still get to the gym at least every day where I needed to. So that was pretty helpful. So, yeah.
Worked around each other, knowing what each other's schedule was like.
Yeah.
But if someone had missed a gym session or whatever, the other person would just step up and say, go to the gym and I'll look after the kids.
Yeah. It's amazing that you're able to support each other. And that's really, really nice to see. And I think you guys just there highlighted an important step that we can all take when we're working towards a goal. And that's, taking stock of our resources that we have available to us. And, you mentioned how you've got a creche at work, or you may have a gym at school where you work, and you've got parents and a family network of people that can support and help you. And I think sometimes when we look at challenges like this or behavior changes, we kind of give up before we start because we go, oh no, it's too hard. When I think the first step we need to take is to take stock of our resources and see what we actually have available, because it might be a really easy system once you go, oh, hey, like I've got a gym at work and we've got a creche and we've got family to support us, and well, I can pick up the kids a little bit later. Like it's all going to work out. And it's cool to see how you guys were able to make it all work with the challenge. You may have just alluded to it, but I want to ask, what was the biggest challenge for both of you over the last 12 weeks with the challenge? Was it something you already mentioned, or was there something else that was a bigger challenge?
I like sugar, and that was my biggest challenge. I do like lollies, and our daughter's Emily's birthday was in the challenge, and Halloween was during the challenge, and it was very hard making lolly bags and going through the Halloween candy to not eat it, and I stayed pretty strong through the whole challenge. So that was my hardest part of the challenge, would be my sugar coating, and I've stuck to it pretty well since. I've had a few every now and then, but I've been pretty good.
I said at the beginning of the challenge that I'm going to train hard, but if there's a social event on, or I had a wedding, I had Emily's birthday, people's birthdays, I said I'm not going to be as strict as I was in 2014. If there's food there to be had, I'm going to have it. But I try to plan around that. So, for example, on the wedding day, I trained in the morning, I only had oats for breakfast and then a protein shake and then the wedding food, and that was it. And yeah, so after 2018, I just said, whatever social event comes along, I'm still going to enjoy myself. I'm not going to stress about how many calories or what I'm putting in my mouth, because after 12 weeks anyway, coming up to Christmas, I'm not going to do that either. So I still kept the training, but if there was a special event or I felt like eating something in particular, I knew that I'd been training hard and I'd work my meals around that type of thing. Challenge-wise, after 2018, I didn't find anything particularly hard about it, because I remember I trained with a few teachers at work, and one of the teachers asked, like, what do you hate about training? I'm like, call me sadistic, but I don't hate anything. Like, yes, it's some of the movements and range of exercises are hard, but after it, I'm like, excuse my French, but fuck yeah, that's good. Like, I hated, for example, I wouldn't say hated, what do they call it? Renegade rows. Like when I did them the first time, I was like, I've never done them before. But then come towards week 7 and 8, I'm like, these are awesome, because I can feel my core firing the whole time. And a lot of the, like, as I said, I trained in 2014, but that program, if you ever had it, you probably have access to it. But the 2014 program is completely different to how we just trained. It was so sort of old school bench press, incline press, chest flies, bicep curls, tricep extensions. That was it. And you just like, okay. And then leg day was squats, deadlifts, leg extensions, hamstring curls, and that was it. So the dynamic of the new training program, I think, probably has changed my body more than your traditional 5 sets of bench press. Because I knew the 2 sets or 3 sets, I could go a lot harder and only have the minute and a half. I've gone off on a tangent here, but yeah, a week of chemo that's hard. Training and eating for 12 weeks, that's not hard.
Walk in the park.
Walk in the park. I want to bring it back to your kids and the nutrition and eating the meal plan. And a common barrier we get in the challenge is eating with kids, and how do I make the meal plan fit with my kids? My kids won't eat the food that's on the meal plan, right. So how did it work in your home when you were preparing food that was on the challenge, and then your children who were 2 and 6, like how did they go with the food? Did you have to cook them something differently? Was there any resistance? What was the challenges around that?
A couple of the meals we did off the plan, they did eat. We bought an air fryer during the challenge, which we usually used to make chicken schnitzel. So we made a healthier version of the chicken schnitzel, and they love that one. And they're pretty good with their vegetables. So it was quite easy. They have a lot of steamed vegetables, but then they have their core little elements that probably aren't the healthiest of options, but they eat them, and we know they're getting a lot of healthy foods with like their vegetables and stuff. So Yeah,
Nice.
not the best.
They'd eat their vegetables and they'd have either a protein or a carb,
Yeah,
but it wouldn't match what we had. We just, because every night they pretty much eat steamed veg, and you just have to worry about
the protein.
protein or carb. And the protein could be chicken nuggets, or it could be, the carb could be noodles or
Pasta, rice. They like rice, so that's a good one.
Yeah, and we cook for them and cook for us.
It's good to see that you were able to make those small changes to more classical food that maybe your kids are used to, like a chicken schnitzel. It's really easy to make a quotation mark healthy chicken schnitzel with a little bit of effort, and then it's still something that your kids can enjoy. One of my own problems is the relationship I'm in right now. My partner, she doesn't eat too much, and I find myself finishing her food. And I don't really count that food because I'd always finish her food. And I hear lots of stories of parents finishing their children's meals. Did you find yourselves finishing your kids' meals after dinner?
Prior to the challenge, yes. During the challenge, no. And after the challenge, no. So that was one thing that I used to do. I used to make their sandwiches. They didn't eat their crusts, so I'd cut them off and then I'd sit there and eat the crust. And there was one thing I did cut out. I had gestational diabetes with Isabel, and bread was a big trigger of my counts. Mm-hmm. So, and I knew that it didn't help, like it made me bloat and stuff. So that was one thing I cut out, and I've tried to cut out eating the bread and stuff. And if they had leftovers, it was hard, but most of it went in the bin after they had finished, if they hadn't finished it, and tried to stick to that as well now after the challenge.
No, good.
I guess we sort of bribe our kids too. So if they finish their dinner, they get dessert.
It's not
pretty much not a bribe. They don't know it's a bribe, but it is a bribe. And if there is anything left over that I eat, generally it's my daughter Emily. She doesn't eat the broccoli stalks, so she'll eat the whole top of the broccoli and leave the stalk. So it's not a bad leftover. So
yeah, that's all right.
Yeah, they're generally pretty good because they know they're going to get dessert.
Nice. Now, moving on to the next question here. Tim, maybe you can start us off. I wanted to ask, what have you learnt about yourself over the past 12 weeks of doing the challenge?
I've learnt probably that things aren't as bad as they could be, if that makes sense. Like, just because you're having an off day in the gym doesn't mean you just can't push through and just train harder. I've learned about myself that it's okay to have those off days because you're only almost 24 hours away from having a good day in the gym. I've learned to be more patient, even though I think I'm a pretty patient person. I tried not to nag Tara because she said she really wanted to, push herself in this 12 weeks. And I tried to be supportive as opposed to just telling her what I think. Pretty much what I do a lot, which I shouldn't. Yeah, and being patient with my kids. I mean, after 2018, it's a lot easier to be patient with your kids. So, because being in a hospital room sucks. So, yeah.
And they couldn't go visit.
Yeah, I didn't see them for 6 months.
They couldn't go visit because the ward he was in, everyone was immunocompromised.
Yeah.
So they weren't allowed in. And even when he was not at the hospital, he might have been at his parents' because kids, one of us was sick, or we were sick, so he would have had to live at his parents during that time. So, yeah, we've learned a lot since then and since the 12 weeks.
Probably the one main thing is probably the ability just to push myself. I know that I have the ability to push myself as hard as I can. I remember being even like outside the challenge, being in the ward, just going for a walk, and the nurse is saying you should be sitting down resting. Like, nah, I'm going to push myself. And I think probably what I learned as well from this challenge is that obviously you got your physical side and your mental side, but I think I've come out of the 2018 a lot stronger. But the importance of physical health on my recovery has been hugely significant. And I obviously go for regular checkups and people who are in similar positions to me, and they don't necessarily look great. And not to say that I look great, but I think exercise has enabled me to push through a lot of things and also shown how physically and mentally strong I can be.
Yeah, amazing. Tara, do you have anything that you might have learnt about yourself over the past 12 weeks that you may not have known beforehand?
I've learnt to like exercise a lot more than what I used to. doing the challenge in 2014, we still had the plans and stuff. So I trained using those plans, and I really didn't do much more than those simple exercises. And I learned a whole lot of new exercises. And I did learn a lot that I could do all of these new things. I go to the gym, I do my little thing in the corner kind of thing, but it was a good learning experience to know that there's all these other things that you can learn. And with the support of the forum and the Facebook group and the videos and stuff, like, it's great to learn all those things and learn how to push yourself and all of that. And I did find that sometimes I was a bit tired and like I didn't want to go to the gym, especially the days where I couldn't go before or after work and I'd have to go at night. But then Tim would go, no, just go. And I'd go and I'd feel so much more better about myself. And like, it makes you feel good. So yeah, I liked learning that, because now if I'm feeling tired or whatever, then I'll be like, all right, Tim, can I go to the gym? And he'll be like, yeah. So off I go, and it makes you feel better. And that's one good thing that I really learned, that it can make your mental health a whole lot better, as well as your physical health and just your normal health.
Yeah, so, I love it. So good. I think both of you just expressed so many good things about fitness and health, like Tim talking about how important fitness is and health is for other health outcomes, and how you were able to be better through your recovery because you're fit and healthy. And then Tara, when we are feeling a little bit down and low of energy, sometimes we need to do some movement and do some exercise, and then we get our energy. And, sometimes we're always sitting around waiting for that energy to come before we go and train, or that energy to come before we go and exercise. But then sometimes it happens the other way around. We would feel tired, would go for a walk or go for a run or go to the gym, and then we come back and we're bouncing around full of energy. And I think the most important thing that both of you guys have experienced is that you now know what it feels like to be fit and healthy. You know what it feels like to have an active lifestyle. So then if you find yourself in a year's time, 2 years' time, if those habits come back and you revert back to previous behaviors, you know what it felt like to be fit and healthy. So you're more inclined to go into that behavior again. You're more inclined to go for a walk. You're more inclined to be active and go to the gym and maybe go and explore other exercises or other movements, and go and watch other weird YouTube videos and follow other people on Instagram and all these things. And I think as a total lifestyle overhaul, you've become different people, because now you're starting to really value fitness and health and movement and life, which is exciting. I love it. It's good to see that both of you are an embodiment for that. And I think I'm excited to see both of you as role models for your kids. And I think passing that on to another generation is so important for a lot of us.
Yeah.
Moving on to the next question here. Now that the challenge is over and, we're in this Christmas period when this is being recorded, what's your goal now? Like, where are you going to take your fitness and your health journey from here?
I'm going to try and stick to my training and my eating healthy. Obviously, there will be a little bit of treats every now and then, especially during this time. But yeah, I really like, this is going to sound like a lovo, but I really like how my body looks at the moment, like especially in summer where we go to the beach and I put on a bikini. I'm liking what I see in the mirror before I walk out the door, or we went to lunch and I wore a new dress and I liked how I looked. And I've never been a big person, but I've not always ever been really happy with the way I look. But I do like, after this challenge, the way I look, and I'm going to try and stick to it, because if you like how you feel and everything, it just makes you more happy. And yeah, I'm happy with that. So that's why I'm going to try and stick to it.
Beautiful. I'm a school teacher, so I'm regimented. So I'll probably train every day before school, because I've got the school gym. There's a number of staff at work who have seen my transformation, and they've seen other transformations on the Max website. So I showed them. Mm-hmm. And they're all keen to start training in the new year. So I'll be helping them. I've helped other people in previous years before, not through a challenge, but they just wanted help at the gym, and because they're a little bit older and they wanted to lose weight. And I just gave them the basic information. Not that I'm a personal trainer or trained. I always say that to them, like I'm not be all and end all. But as I said before, I'm unwell. I was training, 4 or 5 times a week. So I don't think anything's going to change too much. It's just having that increased knowledge from this challenge with your macros, because the 2014 challenge seemed to go in a carb deficit. So at least I know I can keep even carbs because I like carbs.
So we all.
Yeah, I think I'll just keep doing what I'm doing and hold out for those special occasions. And just, it's easy being a school teacher because it's so, as I said, regimented a number of times. But
yeah. It's like very sustainable. That's the goal from here, is to find that sustainability in your training and your nutrition. Yeah.
Less body fat percentage.
Yeah. Tim, your school gym, is that open to students or is it just for the teachers?
At certain times it is. So they do get in external people. So I've helped on, because we have Thursday sport in the afternoon. So I'll go in and not help actually the physical movement, but I'll be there with the trainer, just obviously trying to motivate the students to keep pushing. They used to be able to go in the mornings, but we, WHS reasons, and we're not qualified trainers. So if they injured themselves, there's a bit of a grey area there. So, but I was speaking to the Year 11 coordinator at the end of this year, and he's really wanting them to have access to it, especially, in the mornings. You only get a handful of students, but I think it's good for them anyway. But yeah, I think there's just a WHS hurdle as Australia goes crazy with paperwork.
Yeah. I guess I was going to share a story. When I was in high school, which is about 10 years ago now, we had a school gym at our school. And that was my first experience in a gym. And for me, I was a really overweight child. And I had a few moments at school where I was a bit embarrassed because of the way I looked and I wasn't as fit as everybody else. And it was the gym at school and a few teachers that were good mentors to me that kind of opened up that world to me. And it really was an outlet for me when I was a teen, going through some, tough times, being in my shape. So I think it's really important, especially for young guys, to have that outlet in the gym. And if there were some good quality mentors at your school, maybe yourself included, who were to help these youth go through and use and find a sanctuary in the gym, I think is really important for people. So if there's anything I can do to help that, I would love to be able to speak to some of the people in your school about that, because I think that's really, really important. But the last thing here is I want to ask if you guys have any advice for people. So maybe someone who's listening to this and are interested in joining the challenge or doing the challenge, or, are interested in bettering their fitness and their health. Do you have any advice for them there? Maybe Tim, you want to start us off?
I think for me, motivation comes intrinsically. It has to come from you from the very beginning. So regardless of whether you're thinking or not doing it, I've helped a few people who train, and I know straight away from the first gym session whether or not they want to do it. So really, if you're signing up for the challenge, you just need to obviously be prepared and be organised. They're simple things, but that motivation has to come intrinsically. It has to come from you. I've always believed, whether it's a student or in the gym, you want to be better, you will be better. And that has to come from you first and foremost.
Strong. I love it. Tara, do you have any advice for anybody?
Do it, because I find when I have something written in front of me, I'm more likely to stick to it, especially as a challenge with a prize at the end. I'm more focused to try my best and hit all those goals and get to week 4 and then get to week 8 and so on. And I find that little bit of focus and all those steps, it's a great way to hit your goals and to get motivated and to stay motivated. And then also seeing all the people in the forum and on the Facebook page and their stories, and it kind of pushes you yourself to hit those goals yourself. So yeah, I'm all for it. I'm get on there and get to it.
Nothing to lose.
Yeah, you've got nothing to lose.
Even if you don't train as much as the program says or stick to the diet as much as it says, it's all about the education. And if you stick out the 12 weeks and absorb as much as possible, then you've got tools there. If you do make that change or do want to commit 100%, you've got the tools there to keep progressing as such.
It's amazing advice there. Be prepared. Either you're prepared to win or you're prepared to fail, right? You're prepared to succeed or you're prepared to fail. That's the quote there. And, there is so much importance in getting involved. And I think this challenge highlighted that those who were the most involved on the forum, writing journals, both on Facebook and Instagram and everything between, had some of the most amazing results. And I think that speaks a lot for the human psyche and the power of groups and communities and, working for something higher than themselves. And, it might be something really intrinsic, like I want to be there for my kids. It might be something really extrinsic, like I want to look good in a dress, but you really need to find your own motivation to drive you into the gym. Guys, let's wrap it up there. I want to say thank you so much for being part of the Challenge podcast. You should both be very proud of the amazing results that you've both achieved. And it's great to see that you'll both be a role model for people at the school you work at, Tim, and then, for your kids. But yeah, thank you so much for being part of the Challenge podcast.
Thanks,
Thank
Steve.
you.
Good luck, everyone, 2020.
2020. Love it. See you guys. Thanks for listening, guys. If you like the show, share it with a friend or leave us a review on iTunes to help us spread the good word.
See you next time.